it's Miss Rossi. Today we're going to be finishing our textured alphabet projects from last week. What you will be needing today is your texture scavenger hunt paper from last time. So this should be your big white piece of paper that was folded in all those little boxes and that we went around last time and filled in with a bunch of different crayon texture rubbings. We're also going to need a pencil. You're going to need either a permanent marker like a Sharpie or a black crayon. You're going to need some watercolor paints, or if you don't have these at home, you'll want some other different colored crayons and things you can do to fill in the rest of your background. I'm doing a crayon and watercolor resist today, so I'll be able to fill in all the white space on my paper without covering up those beautiful textures that I rubbed with my crayons last time. And I also have some water and a paintbrush for my watercolor paints. Now the first thing we're going to do today is we are going to draw our alphabet on our paper. So we got to look at the artwork of Jasper Johns, and we got to see all the different kinds of abstract pictures he was making, where he was taking things that we recognize from real life, like numbers or the alphabet or the American flag, and making them a little bit more abstract with all of the different colors and layers of paint that he was using. Now we're going to draw the alphabet on our paper, and we're going to try our absolute best to do our best and neatest writing for our letters. So inside each one of our little boxes, we are going to put one letter of the alphabet. So by the time you get to the end, we're going to have one free box that you'll be able to draw whatever kind of little symbol or design you would like. If you want a heart, smiley face, a star, or if you just want to put your initials or your favorite letter, you can do that also. So with my pencil, I'm going to start in the top left corner. I know that is the left corner of my paper because when I hold out my pointer finger and my thumb on my left hand, I make an L. So I know this is my left hand side, and I'm looking for the first top box on my left hand side. And with my pencil in that box, I am going to draw a nice big letter A. I'm going to make all of my letters capital so they are easy to see. In the next box, I'm going to draw the letter that comes next, which is a B. So I'm going to draw a nice big letter B in that box. Then we're doing a C, a D, E, F, G, and as I'm drawing these, I'm making them nice and big so they're taking up almost that entire box. H, I. Now that I ran out of space in my top row and it is all filled in, I'm going to jump down to the second row on my left-hand side. So we're starting with a J in this box. Then we can make a K, an L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, and we finished that row, so I can move on to the next one. S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. And now, like I said in the beginning, I have that extra box down here, and in my extra box, I'm going to draw a nice big smiley face with two circle eyes, and then a big curvy U-shaped mouth. I can put my pencil away, and now that I have all of my letters on there, you can pick either your permanent marker or your black crayon to trace over your letters. I think I'm going to do my black crayon, and I am just going to trace right over the top of my pencil lines, making sure that they are nice and thick and dark. They don't have to be perfect. I still want to be able to nicely see my letters and easily read them. And we also want a nice thick layer of crayon on there because I am going to paint over the top of this and I want my letters to still shine through. So I'm just going to go nice and carefully tracing over all of my letters. And now if you're using your permanent marker, you're doing the same thing, just tracing right over the top of your pencil lines. Again, we're just practicing our letters, trying to draw them nice and neatly and filling them in nice and dark. Now that I finished putting my entire alphabet on my paper in alphabetical order, I can start to paint. So I'm going to use my watercolor paints to paint right over the top of my picture to fill in all of the rest of the white space. Now I still want this to be nice and neat and not too messy, so I'm not just going to paint over the entire thing with my paintbrush going crazy. I'm going to go inside each box and paint each one individually. So I'm going to take my time, go nice and slowly inside each box to fill in all of those white spaces. Now we're using crayons and watercolor paints today, so we want to wet our paintbrush and dip it inside whatever color we would like to start. I think I am going to use my green to start, and we are using crayons and watercolors together, and our crayons are going to resist our watercolors. So that means wherever I put the crayon, my watercolor is not going to want to cover over it. My crayon is still going to shine through as I am painting right over the top. So you can still see my red, you can still see that orange, even though I am spreading this green paint right over the top. And you can still see my black letter that I drew also. My watercolor is just filling in all of the white space that is left. Before I go into a new color, I'm going to swirl my paintbrush in my water so it's nice and clean and go into a different color. You can fill in your background with whatever color you would like. If you do not have watercolor paints at home, you can use any other material to fill in that white space. Just be careful going around all of the textured designs that you already added. Our watercolors are great because that crayon is shining through, so I can still see all of those really cool textures that I put on my paper. And you'll notice as I am doing this, I am making sure to fill in the entire box, starting by going around the edge with my paintbrush to show that rectangle shape, and then filling it in with the rest of my color. Even though I'm using a dark blue in this section, you can still see all that yellow crayon that I used to make my texture in there last week. I'm being super gentle with my paintbrush. I don't want to push too hard with it. I want to keep the tip nice and pointy as I fill in each section and spread out my color. And now your colors might start to mix and blend together. You want them to touch on the edge of each of your boxes. We don't want any white space left. And it's okay if they start to mix and overlap and things get a little messy and crazy looking, because if you remember our artist's paintings, he was using all different colors and overlapping them to create his abstract expressionist style pieces, and that is what we're going for. We want our pictures to look a little abstract, so they're not going to look totally perfect and totally realistic. We want to let our colors mix and blend together on our paper. So I'm going to keep going box by box to fill in the rest of my picture. Once I'm done, I should not have any white space left on my paper. Everything should be fully colored in. I'm going to keep making sure to wash my paintbrush in between each color, adding enough water to make my paint, and then spreading it out carefully inside each box. And there we go. That is my textured alphabet picture all finished. I went in with my watercolors and I filled in each individual box with a different color, and I made sure to not leave any white space so my colors are touching each other, there are no little gaps, and everything is fully colored in. My crayon resisted my watercolor, meaning it did not let the watercolor cover over it, so you can still see my texture designs in each of my boxes, and you can still see my alphabet letters. Once you're finished with your project, you can let it dry and then upload a photo or video of it on my Canvas page. I can't wait to see the bright, colorful, texture-filled papers you guys have created. Try your best, have fun, and get creative, and I'll see you soon. Bye!